Hello, Infinity. I'm getting close to finishing some of my main sketchbooks, so today I'm going to go in and revisit some of my abandoned sketchbook pages, hopefully breathing some new life and filling in some of the blank space that I've left behind. This video is going to be a lot more of a vlog style type video, so if you want, you can grab your own sketchbook and color along with me. I hope you enjoy the chaos. A little caveat before we begin, this isn't actually a sketchbook tour. Instead, I will be going through my two sketchbooks here and coloring in old drawings and old abandoned sketchbook pages that I have in here. So, little fun fact, I actually have two sketchbooks here. I have my everyday travel sketchbook, and then I have my big sketchbook that you may have seen before. This was actually the sketchbook that I did my Inktober of last year in. So I use the big sketchbook for a lot of my more finished art pieces since I didn't have my craft room set up yet, and I used this sketchbook here as my everyday, carry it in my purse. Whenever I felt like drawing, I would just pull it out and draw. The thing with that is I'm almost done with both of these, but I'm definitely filling up this one a lot faster than this one because I keep this at home and it's mostly a lot of big finished art pieces instead of little doodles that I do. You guys will have to tell me if you like this vlog style type of video over my other scripted videos. I'm probably going to do a little bit of a combination of both, but I figured just doing a simple draw along with me type video would work better for what we're doing today. I'll mostly be working in the little sketchbook here because this one has a lot more unfinished drawings than my big sketchbook. I noticed that my abandoned sketchbook pages tend to fall into a couple of different categories that I'll go over here in just a second. Let's see here. What do we have to work with? So I am just gonna start off with, I have these little tabbies so that I didn't spend the entire video flipping through all of my sketchbooks and I knew which pages I want to start with. So this is one of the main categories that I wanted to cover. This was a doodle page that I was working on. This was supposed to be a Mega Evolved Dragonite, but I wasn't liking how it was turning out. Like, it's not awful, but I just don't see myself ever coming back to finish this. So today, this is actually going to be a swatch page. Normally, when I do swatch pages, I do the last page in my sketchbook, like this one here. And the reason I do it in my sketchbook is that the different mediums that I use are going to interact differently on the different papers. So I want to make sure that I know exactly how these materials are going to interact on the page that I'm going to end up working on. Towards the end of the video, I'm actually going to show you what I plan to do with these swatch pages because they are not pretty and I feel bad with just having a bunch of scribbles on these pages. A little note, there is no right or wrong way to keep a sketchbook. That's the beauty of sketchbooking. It is personal to the artists themselves. I actually am going to be finishing these sketchbooks soon, and I think I'm just going to go back to one main sketchbook now that I have my craft room all set up, which I'm very excited for. It's been a long time coming. It's not completely done, but it's done enough that I actually get to record videos and do artwork in. So that's really exciting. I'm very happy to be doing that. The reason I'm doing this today is that I have a lot of sketchbook pages that were just kind of abandoned and left alone, and that means that there's like a lot of blank pages and a lot of just rough sketches in here. And in today's economy, I just want to fill in these sketchbooks a little bit more. So I figured just doing a little color with me would be a lot of fun. And move this out of the way, and we can decide on what we want to start with here. A quick guide to the different sketchbook pages that I'll be working on, starting off with practice pages. So these pages specifically I started just to get an idea out or just to practice something. They're not anything spectacular. They don't have to be finished pieces, but just to add a little bit more flair, I'm going to go back in and practice my line work with them, just doing some fun doodles like I did on this page. The second type of sketchbook page that I'll be working on is a piece that actually would be pretty good. I just ran out of time and never went back to finish, so I will be going back and finishing them today, coloring it in and doing some line work. The third type of page that I wanted to be working on here is a sketch that I am not happy with. I just didn't like how it was turning out. And finally, like I said before, the last page that I'll be working on are all of my swatch pages, or at least this last one here, since it seems to be pretty colored up and there's not a whole lot of room to do some more test swatches on. So let's get started here. I want to find a page that I want to work with my line art. Here is a good one. So this page actually was a tester page on how I planned on designing Chris's manifested form in my last video. This isn't completely how his outfit ended up turning out, but it was a fun little concept, and I figured just as my warm-up, I can practice with some line art on this one and making it pretty. So to start off with here, I'm going to, whoop, knocked over so many things. Oh my goodness. Chaos. So starting off here, I'm going to use my fine liners because I feel like they're very colorful and they'd be a lot of fun just to work on this piece with. I actually had a different video planned for this month, but the February fog really just got to me and I wanted something a little bit easier and something a little less stressful. So that's why I'm working on doing the color pages today. Figured just some lighthearted coloring is really something that I could use to refresh my soul, help distress and get back into the swing of things. Last video definitely took a lot out of me, which it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing that type of video and I enjoy doing my bigger scripted videos and hopefully I get to do more in the future, but trying to not overwork myself so that I can avoid some burnout. I don't know, there's just something about February that really takes it out of my partner and I. New Year's, you have all that hype of like, oh, I'm gonna get my life back together and I'm gonna do so many things and I have so many projects for the new year that I'm so excited to do. And then it's just like February comes around and it's like, oh yeah, I am human and this is definitely a lot. So but this way it still feels like I'm doing something and I'm making progress, but I'm not running the risk of burning myself out, which is super important. I don't know if you guys are feeling the same thing. And if you are, how do you get out of your February burnout? And like, does your burnout actually happen more in March, or is it, do you just feel it all the time? In which case I am very sorry. But February for me tends to be the big one. And then like middle of summer. So like right between June and July, I'll get it again and it's just like, this year is taking forever. And then, the holidays roll around and it's just like pure chaos all the time. And then you can't catch your breath. And then January comes back and you're like, oh, I'm refreshing. I'm having a lot of fun. Lordy, being an adult is rough. And just like living on our own and taking care of everything. Like you don't realize how much stuff you have to take care of on a regular basis until like you write out a to-do list and you're like, okay, this is all the things I want to accomplish this year and this is when all of the things I have to do need to be done by. And then it's just like, oh, these months are like super packed and then this month I don't have a lot going on. Um what is that foot? That is a crazy foot. Yeah, I actually, so last year, when we started living on our own full time, because we had just bought our house, I started keeping a bullet journal because I have ADHD. And so there were like a lot of little things that I kept forgetting to do, and then they'd all pile up, and I'd have to do, 50 different things in one weekend. And it's just like, oh no. So that's been helping a lot, but it's still a little bit stressful when I fill out all my days and I'm like, okay, how do I space this out to give myself the most efficient amount of use of my time without getting burnt out, but also get everything done? And it just, February feels like, because it's a shorter month, it feels like I just can't get everything done, which is stressful, but at the same time, I know that I will get everything done. I just have to keep that in mind. Sorry to be a bummer. It's really like gloomy around where I live, so today has definitely been really rough with just the fog and the doom and glooms. Hopefully doing this will help lift my spirits a smidge. Sorry if you can hear stuff going on in the background. So my craft room is actually a very spooky, creepy basement room. So it's right next to the heater for our house, and you can hear the cars going on outside. So if and of course my chair that I'm sitting on will probably creak a few times as well. So I do apologize for random background noise. Hopefully I'm able to edit it out and it doesn't sound too bad, but it is what it is and we work with what we got. So, how are you guys doing this year? Are you, sticking with your New Year's resolutions if you do that? Any big goals that you want to take care of this year? My big thing is that I want to save up to get a gaming PC or like a beefier PC that I can do all my artwork with, specifically so that I want this color. Chris has a lot of red tones in his theming, so I want to stick to primarily a lot of these red tones here. But um, where was I? Ba-ba-bum. Oh, right. So I want to get a beefier PC so that I can work on my VTuber model and do some more 3D work, because if I tried to do that on my laptop, the few times that I've done 3D modeling on my laptop, the poor thing sounds like it's trying to explode, which does not help when I have a big project that hasn't saved yet. And I'm like, please don't explode. Just any VTuber model takes a lot of processing power, but specifically a 3D model will eat up so much memory and storage and computing power that it's gonna be easier. Plus, if I want to continue with this YouTube stuff, which I really do, I am having a fun time, then getting a beefier computer definitely will work. Obviously, you don't need a super big, beefy computer to do a whole lot. There's a lot you can do with just what you have, which is something that I've been trying to keep in mind and trying to work on. What is this pose? I'm not sure. I think this is just a terrible pose, but that's okay. We're just doing line work, so we're just having fun with that. It's okay if it's a bit of an ugly pose. We're all good. This fringe, obviously, I took the fringe right off of his jacket. So I took this jacket entirely out of his design just to streamline my artistic process, just to make sure that it's going to be easier to draw him over and over and over again, especially because I don't know what medium I want to tell their story in. So just to simplify his design. The jacket might come back though. I do enjoy the fringe, but really it all depends. But yeah, like I was saying before, you got to work with what you have, and that was something for the longest time that was keeping me from doing a lot of the things that I wanted, was just like, oh, I don't have this or I don't have that. You don't need any of that to do the things that you want. Like, obviously there are certain things that it's like, okay, having this is going to make it easier, but it's what you do. And you can make a lot of cool things. You don't need a whole lot just to do it. The biggest hurdle is doing it. It's not the tools. It's the time and the effort and what you do with learning. And I feel like that's what makes you appreciate the nicer tools more, is that, not saying you have to suffer. Like, obviously if you have the means, you can go for it, but just like, it makes you appreciate it more because you've honed these skills before you got your fancy stuff. So, something I like to do when I do line art specifically is I will go back in and manually add line thickness to parts that either overlap or like would have shadow, or I just want to add more definition to, because I feel like it adds almost like a comic book type of feel, but I feel like it adds a lot of cool and fun definition to my drawings that I've been really enjoying. So like here on the pants, I'll go in and I'll add just a couple of strokes here and there just to thicken that shadow up and kind of make like a weird hook shape, is how I've been drawing a lot of my folds. I actually need to do a lot of clothing studies soon. So maybe I'll make a video about that soon and how I want to learn how to make better clothing designs and just draw clothing better, I guess. Make it feel more like it's wrapping around a form instead of just stickered on and like has better definitions and the folds make a lot more sense. So I don't I don't know what I plan to do with that yet, but either way, definitely a study I will have to do soon because I am forever still learning art and still trying to improve and trying to figure out how I want to render different things. That's the joy of being an artist is that I feel like you're never like you can be happy with what you do and it's good to, you know, not compare yourself and like be too hard on yourself just because your art isn't where it's at and where you want it to look like but just like having those goals of things that's like okay so I do want to improve this and I have to learn how to do this and learn how I like doing this, which is the biggest thing. Because like again, there's no right or wrong way to do art. You know, art makes you feel something. It portrays something. It's you know, my biggest thing is what I like to do. I enjoy drawing this. I enjoy making this. This is why I do art. Purely self-indulgent art is kind of what I've been trying to focus on, and you know, having those bigger projects and YouTube is hopefully going to push me to actually pick up a pencil every now and again and do some proper art instead of just, you know, perpetually doom scrolling on the internet and becoming one with the couch. Not saying that that's a bad thing because, you know, relaxing is also important, but just trying to improve what I'm doing. And I don't know what I'm saying. I don't usually know what I'm saying half the time. That's the perks of doing a vlog is that I'm probably going to repeat myself and I'm going to stumble over my words and it's most certainly not going to be perfect. But hey, this is my first time trying to do a vlog style type video instead of a script. Like I have notes on my phone of things that I want to talk about, but like right off the dome, this this is kind of how I talk normally. So you guys are getting a fun non-scripted version of me with this one. So I hope you guys are enjoying this, and if you want me to do more, just let me know, because this is definitely pretty relaxing for me. You know, I get to do something that I want to do. You know, I wanted to go back and take the time to fill in these pages, and I get to do that and say that I did it with purpose. Not that you know filling in these pages wouldn't have purpose if I did them like just randomly. Um, now I get to justify it in my brain because my brain is messed up. So I think I'm gonna go in with this pink and just kind of add just some hatching here, just for shits and giggles. This is a really fun bright pink. I really enjoy using this pink. I enjoy using it as like a liner for a lot of my sketchier things. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more definition to this belt, and then I think we'll call that warm up done. Alrighty, that seems like a pretty good place to stop. And now this page looks like it has just a little bit more purpose and a little bit more fun and definition instead of literally the exact same page because I was trying to plan it out. So I have the exact same page so you can see what it looked like even before that. And it's okay to have these like random blank pages as well. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm going to color in all of these pages. I'm going to have a lot of pages that are still like that. Just because it's good to see progress and stuff. But, you know, I don't want my whole sketchbook just to look like this. You know, I want some more fun to look back on. So let's see here. We'll start at the beginning. I'm going to remove that because that's a little sample note. So we're going to work on this piece next because it is right in front. And what do I want to use? I'm picking watercolor markers because I have a lot more color variation in these. And she has a lot of fun green tones that I don't have a lot of in my acrylic marker set. So we'll go with these. I'll look up her reference sheet so that yay, reference sheets, so I know exactly what she looks like here. This is the reason why I did these reference sheets, so that I know what my characters look like and I don't have to guess. Alright, here we go. Okay, so, and here's where the swatch page comes in. a little too saturated. This is also the fun of doing physical media instead of digital media because, you know, with digital media, I could just select and drag and I'd just have the right color. But, you know, this is how I end up getting scribble pages because I just keep doing this. There we go. That's a little bit closer to what I need. That's just purple. Okay. I guess this one is probably the closest. All right. I don't even think you can see her eyes in this. Okay. Well, you know, that's fine. This is fine. This is what chaos looks like. And I think I hid her leg because I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. So I'm just gonna really quickly sketch back out her leg and then I will be back. So, all right, straight in with her hair color first. So, do her braid because that's not completely sketched out. And normally in my digital art, I'd go in with a more decent line art before I dropped in my colors, but with my sketchbook here and the fact that I don't think I have a single liner that's not gonna bleed if I put these markers over them, we're gonna go in. We're gonna raw dog it with no line art, which you know that's okay because we're just doing some chill coloring vibes here, real chill. We're just gonna cover up most of her face with her braid and that. I think that's part of the reason why I left this one behind. That and I don't think I was super happy with her pose, but I feel like the face specifically, I was just like not having it. I was just like, okay, moving on. So we're going at the braid. Braid's looking a little stiff, but that's okay. And then she has a second braid, which I think I'm gonna bring out here a little bit. There we go. Just so that it's peeking out and you can just see it. Just a smidge. Alright. I'll just draw some simple little bubbles. I feel like you see a little bit of the hair. Okay. Cool. Liking that. Liking that for sure. Okay. And then her bow. And then there we go. That's pretty much the color that I wanted. Yay! Science! We're not going for crazy perfection because I wasn't gonna super finish this. This is more just for funsies, but also just kind of demonstrating because I feel like I didn't explain her manifest very well in my last video. But yeah, she has the baton here and then summons strands of music, and then she can like swing around the battlefield kind of Spider-Man style. Um, just for clarification as to what's going on here. But yeah, lots of OC lore. Because fun fact, originally this was the sketchbook that I was gonna do all of my hyperfocus studies in, and then let's see, how many pages did I get in before I stopped drawing hyperfocus? Let's see here. One, literally one. um, yeah, but hey, that's okay because you know I'm having a lot of fun with this sketchbook, and I'm really enjoying the progress that I've been making with it. So yeah, it's okay. It's all good. We're having fun. doing lots of fun. Alright, so got that, and then we need to go in here, and we're gonna get this green. I think is the one that I wanted. Swatchy. Oh, that's the top of the skirt. This is the green that I want for her jacket. So go in here and do her arm. That's okay if I overcolor this because I'm going to come back in with an acrylic marker, which will hide all my sins. You know what? I think I also didn't like the flow of her skirt, which perhaps me because I did not do the flow of her skirt very well on this one. There'd be a lot more swoosh going on here. Alright, say it was this one I was gonna do next. Ooh, yeah, it's not okay. Well, you know what? We gotta make do with what we got, and we'll just add A little bit more swoosh. Another thing is that I should have erased this just a little bit more because you can definitely see my sketch underneath, but that's okay because I think I'm going to go back in with line art. So, oh, I forgot her pants color. I'll just use the same color green. I could just and this is what I was worried about, that the skin tone was going to be too similar to the hair. But that's okay. You can also come back in with line art and fix that too, but I think I'm going to have to go in with an acrylic marker to save those headphones because I definitely overcolored those. You know, I never decided what her baton color was going to be. That might work. That just might work. It is, unless this is a lime green. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, it's a good lime green. Okay. Should let this dry a little bit more, but this will be a good base. And I think, yeah, I made them circular. Raw dog in this baton, no straight edge, no, no erase tool. How does one draw shoes at this angle? I'm not sure. I'm just winging it. You know, sometimes I can do art, and sometimes I do this, and it's for fun. So, well, that is drying. I think might make actually. Yeah, I think I might make the music notes this color, and then I actually compositionally change how they come out. So I take this kneaded eraser and erase things that I probably. Whoa, everything's shaking on my desk. So I have to stop every 12 minutes while I'm recording because that's the kind of camera that I have, and it just does that. So I just noticed that this has slowly been inching out of frame, so I do apologize on that one. But I go back in with this color, and I'm gonna kind of compositionally change the directions of these stanzas just to add a little bit more interest because everything is kind of flowing up, and I want it to follow that a little bit more. So when you have to count how many lines a stanza has so that it's accurate on a doodle in a fictional world, you know, maybe my fictional world just has stanzas with 4 lines. But no, it gotta be accurate. A little bit more saturation, because most of her is desaturated, so adding a little bit of the manifest magic kind of like it's science fantasy, I guess is how you want to put it, because like it's kind of magic. There's no, I'm not justifying how manifests like fully work in like a scientific sense of the word. So it's definitely science fantasy over science fiction, which, you know, is fine with me. And then I'm gonna take that blue that was originally for her eyes and do the music notes on it. And don't judge me for my music notes because like I only have so much knowledge of music. Like, don't get me wrong, I definitely was a musical kid, but I never learned how to properly read sheet music, so I don't want to know what this sounds like. Um, to be honest. Oh, there's one that's a hat, isn't there? It's a hat. Looks like a hat. Yeah. There we go. Nice. Nice. Really hope these aren't facing the wrong way. They probably are, but that's okay. Okay. There's that one, and then it's flowing up this way. We'll tilt it. We'll tilt it. We're getting tilty. Do smaller ones over here. There we go. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Now we'll go in with line work. Now, the real question is, what do I want to lead with? Because I don't know. Ooh, guys, by the way, I found my pen. After cleaning my craft room, I found my pen. I'm very excited about it. It's purple though, so I don't know if it's gonna do well with my like green drawing. And it looks like the ink dried up. Oh no, I'm gonna have to refill that anyway, so cool. Love that for me. Let's check and see if I have any good. I have a dark green. Dark green. Let's see how well these do. Oh yeah. Oh, these do great. When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. So something to point out, like with the line art here, is when I am doing the ruffles. So I'll do the squiggly line technique, and I'll draw the lines back, indicating the flow of the fabric. But then I will darken the area on the inside of the loop that's like the underside of the skirt. I'll make that line thicker, and then the line furthest away from where my imaginary light source will be, I will also make a little bit thicker, just so that it implies more of a shadow and adds a little bit more definition to the skirt here. And just a little thing that I do. But yeah, so we'll take this and we'll darken it a little bit more thickness, and voila, we have a nice, see, go on the inside of this loop. So you have your, let me see if I can preserve the show. I have a sketch page. Okay, so you take, so you do your little swoopies, right, to add the pleats, and then you'll do your lines of where your skirt's flowing, and then let's say my imaginary light source is over here, and it's shining this way. So, and then you can kind of loop it around. So this here is the inside of the skirt. This is the outside of the skirt. What you do is take this little loopy here. So this is the inside of the skirt portion, furthest away from the light, and you thicken that line there, and then the line on the outside of the skirt, again furthest away from the light, you'll take it and you'll do a little hook shape like that, color that in, and then make the line a little thicker, just to add a bit more definition to the skirt, right? So add your secondary lines, and those are going to be later, and then in here would also be darkened, just a smidge, right? Just to kind of imply form on your skirt is something that I've picked up. Another thing about these pens is that they do go over the acrylic markers, but they don't like sit on top of them as much. They get more absorbed, so the color is a little bit lighter and a little bit more faded, which is fine, you know, for something that I'm just kind of messing around with. But something to keep in mind in the future is that these do not super layer well over the acrylic markers. All right. I think I can call that one done for now. So let's see what else I have. So I have a couple of more pages that I wanted to color in, but I think I'm going to do this one next. So this is Rory. This is the main character of my hyperfocus project. The reason I never came back to this sketch, though, is that I wasn't super happy with the sketch itself. Her eyes are too big and too close together, so it really just doesn't look like her. Um, so I figured I could have a little bit of fun and do some collaging with this Dollar Tree notepad paper. And as I was ripping out the paper, I realized she has a whole thing about being um CMY in her palette and how everything kind of like overlaps and it kind of plays into what her manifest looks like. So given the fact that these are they're a little bit more saturated than the colors I actually go with digitally, I figured it'd be fun to do a little bit of collage with these colors here. So I am just going to do some paper ripping and kind of come up with some funky shapes and see where it goes from there. Don't want any perfect edges. Um, just kind of going for some globular shapes here. I'm just gonna start sticking them down with some glue tape. Ooh. This does not want to work. Oh no, it keeps pulling up the actual paper because the paper's so cheap. Just need it to stick down a little bit. You know what? I think I have glue sticks that might be. Now the question is months after neglect, are these dried out? Yes. Okay. Back to the glue tape that doesn't seem to want to work. Ah, ah. There we go. Okay. More pressure. More pressure seems to be working. Welcome to the chaos. This is what no planning, just having fun art looks like. And I have paper glued to my hand now. There we go. Now we're cooking with gasoline. Let's go. Don't actually cook with gasoline, please. So this is something that I actually haven't done in a sketchbook before. Um, so we'll actually see how much I like it afterwards, but I think, I mean, besides the glue debacle, I am having fun with it. So I think I might incorporate this into future sketchbooks. Granted, this is just a bunch of pieces of scrap paper glued into a sketchbook at the moment, so we'll see how the actual piece ends up looking. Yeah. So I have stuck in sticky notes before on sketches that I don't like. Um, which, is fine and all. That's definitely a different way, but given the fact that I already have so many like practice sketches and like unfinished things of Rory in this sketchbook, I I kind of just wanted to do something a little bit more fun and polished, I guess, or a little bit more finished or something more intentional because I feel like the sticky note method feels less intentional, but this definitely feels more intentional because I definitely put in a lot of effort to glue and use this stupid glue tape. Oh, count how many times I've complained about the glue tape. The number will shock you. I don't know how well you can see it, but I can see the paper that got pulled up stuck in the glue tape dispenser. Oh, chaos. But hey, this is what you came for. I know it was labeled cozy coloring, but this is chaos coloring, baby. Yeah, I'm gonna come back into my craft room and I'm gonna question why my desk just has random sticky spots, and it's gonna be the glue tape. Alright, that feels pretty good. Maybe a little bit more pink here. So I'm not quite sure how I want to actually color over top of that, but first I'm gonna need a new sketch to color in, and I will be back in just a bit. I think so. My original thought was maybe using my watercolors or my highlighters, just to kind of go over so that you can still see like more of the paper bleeding through. But given the fact that this paper already adds like so much texture, I think I'm gonna go with the acrylics just because I think that's gonna be easier. Let me see what the blue looks like over the different colored papers because I think that'll really determine. Okay, I think I'm just gonna do liner with the blue, and then if I don't like it, I'll go over it with the acrylics. I think is what I'm gonna do. Ooh, she wobbly. Really should have used a glue stick when gluing these papers down because it is making it way harder to draw on. But you know, I'm liking it so far, so I think it might be worth it. At this angle, I can kind of tell where the hairline should start, and I really should give myself better guidelines. Totally did not forget her hair swoopy at all. That would be crazy. Main detail of my character, I would never forget to add that. Still having a hard time staying on model and making her look like Rory, but you know what? I think this is definitely a little bit closer than where we started, so improvements for sure. And then pull her ponytail over her shoulder. That was a choice that I made. I'm probably gonna have to come in and actually color in her hair, but that is some scuffed work right there, ladies and gents. Anybody else have a hard time drawing hands, especially without like major references and stuff? And I get that I have my hand as a reference right here, but it's a lot harder with like certain angles and stuff. So, but she's gonna be looking at her magic. Super thick lines we're going with here. Sometimes I do thick lines, and sometimes I do thin lines. Sometimes I do thick lines, and sometimes I do thin lines. It just all depends on the type of piece that I'm making. Definitely should have glued down all of the pieces because all these little tabbies are making it a lot harder to get clean lines, which I think the thick lines is actually helping me for, because if they were thin lines, it was going to make it harder to hide the fact that they're a little jank. So I think thick lines was definitely the way to go. And you know what? I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I'm definitely going to add something more to it, but I'm not sure. I might just do a couple different shades of like this type of green just to add more contrast, I think. But I do like all the papers peeking out. I think it's fun. Am I recording the audio? God damn it. Wasn't recording the audio. Oh no. Well, I wasn't recording. So that's awesome. That's just see this is why I don't film in person as much. There's oh goodness me, and I don't like this color anymore. Yeah, here's the art piece as it is now. I did this pink color for her skin, I did this yellow for her clothing, and then I did the blue for her hair. And then I moved into my acrylic markers to do her little magic here. So love that. Love that for me. Uh well, I'll just have to edit something over that, I guess. Beauty of Rory's manifest is that it has no defined like core thing that like there's like a general vibe, um but it doesn't have to be consistent, so I can make it look whatever I want, which you know, yay me. There, guys, I'm so upset. I'm so upset that I lost that recording. You know, I had a lot of good stuff in there. There's some good audio and it goes along really well with what I was doing, and trust me, bro. Um so yeah. I'm just I'm so sad. I'm so upset. Oh, alrighty. Let's see how I feel. Okay, my white is definitely running out of ink, so I feel like it's not gonna be too bad if I just add this because I feel like it'll just add contrast, but it's not gonna like totally overpower everything, you know? Like it'll make the eyes pop out a little bit more, which is kind of what I want, but it's not gonna make her look too alien. So I'm just gonna layer the markers over top so that it adds kind of like a shadow sort of dealio. Um, but it's not gonna be like a different color, so it's not gonna add any weird contrast, and I don't have to worry about like color matching or anything. But I think just adding the extra layer is gonna add a little bit more contrast for what I'm looking for here. But I'm really liking how this is turning out. I think this was a lot of fun and it definitely covered something that I wasn't super happy with, and now I'm actually extremely happy with how this turned out. So that is good. I hope you guys are enjoying the new setup. I know that I am. I just got my craft room 90% done. It is definitely, actually it's more like 75% done. It currently does not have a proper floor. It's just the cement floor of my basement. Which, you know, you throw an area rug over top of that, it honestly isn't too bad. But I'm really just excited of the fact that I actually get to do projects in my own space now, and I don't have to worry about the fact that I'm like taking up the entire living room with all of my art stuff and, you know, over overtaking all of the common areas. I also am very excited to get access to the rest of my art supplies back instead of them just being in a doom pile and not being able to find the different art supplies that I was looking for, um, which was definitely very sad. So much so that I definitely had art supplies that I completely forgot I owned. I don't know if anybody else has had that issue before where like it's been out of sight, out of mind for so long, and then you move or you clean and then you find them again and you're like, "Oh, I forgot I had these. These are so cool." Yeah, definitely having a lot of that once I got everything organized and put away. So, very, very fun times had by all. Um, Let me tell you, this cheap paper definitely is not meant to be a coloring paper for sure, but you know, we're having fun. So I don't think with a little bit of perseverance you can make anything an art supply, I would say. Um, yeah, a little bit of dedication, a little bit of hard work and the willpower, and anything can be an art supply. A stick could be an art supply, you know? Cheap craft paper from the Dollar Tree. And um like I have expired makeup and stuff that was given to me as a gift because I don't wear a lot of makeup. Um so but it was expired makeup, so you're not supposed to put it on your face anyways. So I literally just kept it to use as an art supply if I just wanted something to muck around with. Like literally anything could be an art supply if you try hard enough. What are you guys working on? What are some big projects that you guys are having fun with? Um, like I mentioned before, I'm working on a VTuber model that is going to be made in Blender. But I also have my two webcomics that I'm working on, the offices of Liminal and Associated Spaces, and of course Hyperfocus, who Rory is from. And then I have um so I have this box of scrap paper of like back when I was in school of all the times I had doodled on like homework and stuff, and I'm hoping at some point to cut all of those pieces out and make a big collage piece type dealio to hang up in my office. Um and I think if it turns out the way that I'm hoping it will in my head, I think it'll end up looking really cool. I'm very excited for that. And then um, another side project that I'm working on is I am in a D&D party, and as a thank you gift, since our current campaign will be wrapping up soon, I want to make a 3D modeled gift for the DM that was running, just as a thank you for running the first campaign I've ever been a part of. So that'll be fun, and I think I'll make a video out of that as well, just to document the process, because you know it'll be a good warm up for my 3D modeling stuff. Oh, but I also just think that everybody would enjoy it, and it'd be a lot of fun to show how I did it. So I'm one of those weird people that I actually don't mind it when my sketchbook paper gets all warped. I actually really enjoy it because I think it adds a lot of like fun texture, and it makes it feel more like real in a sense, because it's like, oh, the my art has like deformed this paper. It feels more substantial when the paper warps. So I don't know if that's just me or not, but I know a lot of like, especially like watercolor professionals and stuff, they're like, oh, we have to tape this down so that the paper doesn't warp, because that's seen as like a bad art thing. But like personally, in like all my sketchbooks and stuff, I really enjoy it when the paper works, because like I said before, it just, I don't know, there's something appealing about it. Get it? Appealing because my paper's peeling up. Oh, I'm funny when I try, but not really. Alrighty, so I definitely may have totally overworked this piece a little bit. Feel like a lot of the details might be getting lost. Also, I got spooked by my timer, so whoops. There's a little bit of a whoopsie right there. But that's fine. He's fine, he's fine. But yeah, I definitely may have overworked this piece just a smidge, so I'm coming back in with this black just to make sure that, there's still a little bit of definition and you can still kind of tell what's going on. Okay. And I think that ends it for this piece. I think this piece is good. I am definitely happy. I think it's definitely been an improvement from what it originally was. Um, and I definitely at least had a lot of fun making this, even though I lost some of the footage, and some of the audio. I think this piece might be a little bit cursed. I think Rory might have cursed me. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on from this piece. So I'm gonna go all the way back here. I am gonna do some just some classic vent art over here, just so that I can refresh the vibes. So we're gonna go over here. um Something that I forgot I had were these oil pastels, which I have not used in forever. And if you don't know what an oil pastel is, I've heard a lot of people describe them as adult crayons, and like that's kind of true, but not necessarily. Um, like if you get the cheap ones, they're definitely like adult crayons, but they're a little bit more nuanced than that. So I am going to do a skull, with a lot of fun colors, and I think the blendability of the oil pastels is going to lend itself to the funky colors that I want to do. So I think I'm going to do just side profile. Perhaps. Maybe? Yeah, I still think it's side profile. Okay. He's definitely gonna be a little wonky, but that's all good. Sketch him out just a smidge. Lower jaw. I don't know. I'll have his mouth open. We're thinking mouth open today. I don't know what my favorite art medium is for like physical media. Um, and like I don't even know if I like digital over physical. I think they're all fun and they all have their different purposes. And I think it's just like whatever strikes me that day, um, would be fun to use. So, but if you guys have a favorite medium or have a medium that you would be interested in seeing me try, let me know, because I definitely have way too many art supplies, but I will definitely add to my collection, and I would definitely love to try some more out. I've definitely tried a lot though, just from an artistic standpoint, just because it's like a Pokemon. It's like Pokemon. I gotta catch them all. I gotta try all the art supplies for sure. Let's see here. I kind of does one of these situations. There's the eye socket here. The reason why I am doing the oil pastels over the swatch page is that I feel like the more you layer them, the more it's going to cover up the swatches, but even if the swatches come through, I feel like it'll just add to the piece even more. Yeah, this is definitely whack anatomy here. Let me see if I can, yeah, because the cranium is a lot more oblong than you would think, which is weird because like you would think it's more spherical, but like it's all your brain stuff is like up here, and like your spine would come in there. So like it's way more oblong. And I'm gonna work with these light colors first, just because it'll help me get everything, and I can always build over top of it. But I'm gonna have some blendy tools that I also found. Guys, you know, having all your stuff in one place is definitely a privilege, and it's really nice. So you could just, you know, pull out your art supplies and figure out what you want to use. I don't know if this is the right paper to use with oil pastels because it's so textured. I think maybe I should use something more smooth next time I use these if I want to do them for like a thing, you know. Right, nose, and then yeah, yeah, yeah. It's strong. Hinges. It hinges. Guys, anatomy is weird for sure. So unfortunately, though I enjoy drawing like skeletons and stuff, I did not learn proper anatomy in a proper classroom. So, um, everything everything I know about art in general, actually, most of my art knowledge I actually did not learn in college. I learned it off of the internet. Whether or not that was good or that hindered my artistic growth is a whole other thing. But yeah. But see, we're seeing the vision, see how it's all kind of just covering all of that up the more I layer. So let's add bright yellow. Just hide that. I really hope that as I'm pressing this down, so my desk is not the sturdiest thing in the world, right? So fun fact, it was actually so these desks were here when we moved in, and they're just literally just doors. Like you open a door into a house or a room, they're just doors on 2x4s, right? And so they weren't the sturdiest to begin with, and then my partner and I added a few more reinforcements, but again, they're still not the sturdiest because I'm definitely shaking the whole desk as I'm working here, but I'm also incredibly heavy-handed as a person, so yeah, that's also a little bit my fault. I'm just doing a yellow base. I could do a green base. Yeah, just adding. We're going crazy here, guys. We're going off the rails. I'm having fun. I don't know if you guys are having fun, but I'm definitely having fun. If you're not having fun, please don't tell me, because yeah, I'll be sad. I want everybody to have fun. Okay. I'm losing a little bit of my definition here, but that is what we get the dark colors for. We've learned our lesson. We've learned our lesson, guys. I'm 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 getting there. I am learning. Guys, I'm learning to be a YouTuber for sure. This is definitely a learning progress. This is my first channel, so um I do apologize for the growing pains that you guys will experience, but I feel like that, you know, it might add a little bit to my charm because I'm having fun. Do I have an orange? Let me see if I have an orange. That's pink. It's a little bit, yeah, there we go. It's a little bit more saturated. Um, I'm definitely not as practiced with my oil pastels. So if I'm doing these wrong, I am sorry. These are definitely not my most used. So, um, Let me know in the comments better techniques. Should I just use my finger? I'm just going, nah. I think this is definitely doing something. I feel like it's scratching it though. What you did? Ah, okay. Nope. Oh, I'm losing it. I'm losing it for sure, guys. I think my basement might be cursed. I think that's the problem. The craft room is cursed. Only cursed things coming out of the craft room now. But you know what? I appreciate if you're still watching this video, thanks. That means a lot to me. I know it is chaotic and not like my other usual videos, but I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you decided that I was worth a watch. Because I'm having fun with this, and I hope that, if you're still watching, you're having fun with it too. So now we're getting somewhere. My approach to these oil pastels are kind of like my approach to my watercolor markers is that I want to start with the lightest and go with the darkest because I don't know how well these are going to layer over top of each other, right? So if I start with the lightest and go darker as I work, then, well, that's cool. I didn't know that they would do that. Um, then obviously I can just add more detail as I go. So, little trick if you don't know how well something layers, I would say most art supplies you want to start light and move darker as it goes, which is hard when you're coming from doing digital art because then it doesn't matter what order you do things necessarily because you can just be like, oh, I'll just add a new layer or move this layer up and infinite possibility. But with traditional, there's a lot more you gotta be cautious about. So these teeth are jank. Sir, you need to go to the dentist and see someone about your jank teeth. It looks like he has a bloody maw. Oh, oh no, red might have been a bad idea, guys. We're looking a little gory. It's okay. The more I add, the more it's gonna work out. This piece for sure. I'm having fun. I'm having a lot of fun with this one. The other one was definitely a lot more stressful due to like technical difficulties. This one because I didn't care about the page underneath it because it was a swatch page and it's the last page in my notebook. Already took down a lot of my nerves. And then on top of that, it is a type of art that I enjoy making. So that's fun. And then it's a medium that I'm not fully used to. So I have the understanding that it's not going to be perfect because I'm not fully used to this type of medium. For example, I didn't know that that was going to become gray, but that's cool. I think the more my blend stick gets coated in the oil pastels, the more it's going to make it easier to blend. And then I forgot about the cranium lines. We need to add in some cranium lines here. So there's like this guy here that kind of does that, and then there's this guy that goes around like that. Just gotta remember not to fully blend these guys out. I know these have proper names. Do I know these proper names? No. Will I learn these proper names? Maybe. I still remember, so there was a song that they taught us in school for the elementary version of all of the names of the bones of the body. And still to this day, I don't remember the song, but I can name a significant amount of the bones in the body. Just like more than your average Joe, I would say. Definitely a really lame party trick I get to pull out just to verify my nerd status. So this is a different brand. We're not gonna mix brands. Mixing brands sounds like a bad idea. It also sounds like a ooh, this one's drier than the others. Weird. I wonder if it's because it's from like a different pack? Like it's the same brand, but it's from a different pack, or if it's just like this color is old, or like it's cold. Hmm. Okay. See if this one works. Yeah. That's a cool purple. Not exactly the color I was going for, but we're getting real loose with it. Just add more shadow here. Um, I have a feeling that this is gonna end up pretty gross color, I would say. Just from the experimentation that I've been getting here. Which, that's fine. That's fine. If it's not obvious, I'm not a professional. I guess, yeah, because I haven't gotten paid for my art yet, so I'm not a professional. If that's how you want to verify being a professional. Because I feel like there's definitely a difference between professional and expert as well. Because, like, professionals, yes, they have a certain level of skill, but that skill is based off of, in our capitalist society, um, that skill is based off of like how much someone is willing to pay for the skill that they've obtained, right? And so that I would say is professional, and then expert I feel like is even more nuanced because it's like, what's an expert in your field? Experts, I feel like most of the time, even though they've been practicing for years and stuff, like they might not even view themselves as experts. They might think that they still have a lot of learning and stuff that they need to do. This blue is wild. This was a wild choice, if that makes sense. Guys, I don't think I'm gonna do any more vlog videos for a while, at least until I get more practice talking to a camera, because this has been rough for sure. That's a me thing. If you feel like you're ready, I feel like you don't have to wait till you're absolutely perfect at something to try it. I wonder if they make like a just like a wax, or I guess technically an oil, but like like the colorless blender that a lot of alcohol markers come in. I feel like they should do colorless blender for oil pastel. And there could be one out there already that is literally what I just said, the colorless blender for an oil pastel. And then I just might not have it in my set. Of course, that could just be white. That I feel like pigmentless oils would be really good. If there is one out there, it might not be in this set because this set is definitely either a hand-me-down or from a thrift store. Because I have a lot of friends and family that do a lot of art, and then usually if they don't want something anymore, they'll just hand it. And that's like for a lot of things. Guys, I think I like oil pastels. This is so much fun. This has been so chill. I'm having a blast. I should have been doing oil pastels this whole time. Granted, this is not detail work. Like I just get to smudge things around. If I tried to do this with like my regular work, this would be a nightmare. I can definitely not do anything detailed. For just a little guy that I'm just doodling away with, this is so much fun. I also feel like I'm using them up like so fast. I'm going through them so fast because I'm pushing so hard to get more pigment so that it blends a lot easier. Another reason why I think they should do colorless oils so that you can put a layer down and then you already have this like smooth surface that you can then color on top of. Oil pastel companies, hit me up for marketing. You're welcome. Green. Yep, this is definitely going to be my new favorite way to color up a swatch page because I'm having a lot of fun. Another reason why I did it specifically on this swatch page is because it's the last page in my sketchbook. If it transfers or smudges, it's just going on this cardboard because I don't know how to protect this piece because I don't think because they're oils, so I don't think they're gonna dry. That's just something to keep in mind going forward. Yeah. All right. All right. Can you smell what the rock is cooking? Okay, so it's working on this paper. Maybe I have too much oil on here for the harder pigments, and that's why it feels like it's scraping up. I've actually so back in high school, my art teacher gave us an assignment, and we did oil pastels, and you'd do like a rainbow gradient on your page, and then over top of it, you'd just do black. And it made one of those. I don't know if you guys know what I'm about to describe, but the scratching art that you would do. Forget what they are called, but it would make really cool scratch art. And then that was just one of our projects that we did, which was so much fun. And I might do that again at some point. Add that there. I'll just, yeah. And then we'll take the peachy color and blend it out again. Guys, my hands are gonna look crazy after this. But I feel like I do my best art when I don't have to be super particular about it. And I just get to be smudgy and just like go at it and do crazy layers and stuff, which I think is part of the reason why I like doing digital art. Because though it feels super clean, I've found a new method that allows me to do my messy art kind of and like get a very similar effect. Like it's not perfect. It'll never beat sloppy physical art, but it is a workflow that I enjoy. So I think I'm gonna elaborate more on that and figure it out some more, but I think I'll probably keep with the new style. Oh yeah, we're going off the rails here. I don't know when I'm gonna consider this done. Like I don't know what done is gonna look like for this piece just because I'm just like adding layers and then continuing to blend some more and like I don't know if oh no, I've made a permanent piece that I can never finish. Oh shoot. This sketchbook will never be done. No. I will probably get close to calling it and then I will have some other pieces that I should do. See, I should have done these on the other piece. No, that that would have ended in disaster. That would not have ended well. So what is your guys' favorite physical art medium? If you have one. If you don't, that's okay. Alrighty, I think I'm gonna line this piece and add some more intentional spots around, and then I think I'm gonna call this piece done. That is lined, and then just do a splotch. Maybe I'll make it look like a flower. Classic skull and flower vibes. But I wanted to do Swatch Me Dear. There's a song and it says Watch Me Dear, but with how the artist says it, I think it sounds like Swatch Me Dear, so occasionally making that joke in my sketchbooks because it's an inside joke with myself, but it makes me laugh. And you know, you should have dumb things that make you laugh. They bring you joy. What kind of flower is that? That's not really a flower. I'll just add some little swoopies here and that'll make it more flower-like, I guess. This purple is too far away from the pink and so it's making it muddy. So if we just add some red in here to add more gradient, it'll clean itself up a smidge. I think. I say with the utmost confidence, knowing absolutely nothing half the time. I think this purple does better. I think this is a different purple, but it's a warmer purple instead of a bluer purple, so I think it'll do better. I ran out of room. Okay, we're just gonna mistakes were made, and we'll just hide our sins. Please don't judge my handwriting. Clean that up a little bit. I'll definitely have to remember to use these more. They were fun. They were fun for sure. Okay. Cool. Cool. I think I'm ready to go back to just some plain old coloring pages. Okay. We'll do G. We'll do G. G is an absolute sweetheart, and I think I'm just gonna do some basic coloring with G here. You know what? I changed my mind. I am not gonna do fully accurate colors on this one, just because this is G in their fully manifested form, and I'm going easy on myself again. So I'm gonna fine line it, and then I'm gonna use their kind of like their main colorish palette, and then just go in and use highlight, midtone, and shadow, and then just kind of layer and have fun with that instead. Um, and then I might go in and no, because they would all be pretty similar colors. So I think I'll just start and we'll go from there. G is a little bit different now. I draw G just a smidge different than how I drew them at this point. That's the beauty of art. That's something you have to keep in mind when you're doing art is that sure it's a consistent skill and you'll like grow over time, but there'll definitely just be days where you're just like, oh no, my hands don't want to work. It's really frustrating, especially if that like leads into art block and then you giving up on your art practice and it's just but you gotta keep in mind that it'll be okay. I don't know where I was going with that. I think it's just a human thing because we're not robots. We're human. We're gonna have days where we're not at our best and that is perfectly okay. You could push through it if you feel like you really had to, but also you could take a break or you could just scribble a bunch of stuff all over your sketchbook or glue stickers in or take a break from art entirely and do something else. And I think so that's actually something that like I learned was really interesting was when I was doing a lot of my 3D design work, when I got back to just drawing in 2D, my understanding of like 3D space and anatomy had oddly improved. Even though what I was doing in 3D was not the same. I think just like the hours I spent moving essentially what was a 2D image of a 3D object around definitely helped. So I think I need to go back to doing some more 3D because I've definitely lost that skill or I'm a little rusty on it. Um, but that's just something to note when you're doing art is that taking a break and doing something else and enjoying a different hobby could help you improve your art practice just because you're looking at something from a different perspective, if that makes sense. I love G. G's so cute. This arm does not make sense with how I have it. None of this posturing makes sense. And you know what? I'm just gonna live with that. Guys, what are your shorthands for drawing shoes? Because I hate drawing shoes so much. And I feel like that's a pretty common artist complaint when doing character designs, unless they're like really into like the fashion aspect of it. Um, like shoes is just like a big one that people just hate drawing for some reason, and I can understand the reason. Like feet are weird. They're really hard to draw. They make no sense in 3D space. Humans in general are really weird to draw. We just don't make sense in 3D space. I think that might have been why I never finished this drawing, is that I didn't actually want to think about how the actual anatomy would work. I just kind of wanted like a vague sense, and then I just wanted to draw a couple of different creatures. Like, there's a certain amount of being a content creator that like requires a certain amount of not taking yourself seriously and letting yourself be a little goofy, a little cringe. We'll see. We'll see how much actually makes it into the edit. Oh, he's such a cute little guy. I just love him. I am being very careful with these pens because unfortunately I am an incredibly heavy-handed person and I don't accidentally want to bend the um, nibs of the marker. So I have to be cautious with how much I'm actually pressing down. They're kind of they're kind of giving like Digimon type vibes. It's funny because I know Digimon and Pokemon are not the same thing before people get angry at me, but I definitely did take a lot of my learning of drawing creatures um from Pokemon. Just like their basic concepts, I guess. Who knows? Who knows? Also, if anybody has any good like easy recipes, let me know because my partner and I like we've been trying not to make the same thing over and over again, but we're kind of running out of like things to make. So if anybody has any good food recipes that they think I should try, let me know because I love me some good food. Yeah, I don't know if these are gonna bleed. That's another thing that I have to be aware of. I'm not sure if these are gonna bleed with the water-based markers. I have not tested that. I'm pretty sure my voice sounds differently when I'm focused on a task instead of reading just off of a script. And you know what? It's not that I'm trying to do it on purpose, it's just I'm focusing on talking, I guess, when I'm reading a script focusing on how my voice sounds rather than when I'm just doing like a vlog style thing and then I'm like, no, I'm more focused on doing the art and making the art look good. Which is actually normally why I script my videos, is that it's actually pretty hard for me to focus and talk at the same time, which is something that I have to work on if I want to end up eventually streaming someday. But yeah, my voice sounds different, or if it does sound different, I do apologize. This is my focus talking, and then like when I read my scripts, I think I have my customer service voice on, and I actually like my customer service voice. Got smudged. Y'all, my hand. Are there any physical media artists out there that can make art without ending up completely coated in their own art supplies? Let me know, because I don't believe they exist. I think it's just a human experience that you're gonna end up covered in whatever you're working on. But if you do, let me know which dark entity you made a pact with to do that, because I work a full-time job and they don't exactly appreciate me being covered in art supply stuff, so definitely have to be careful with stuff that like stains. Ooh, spooky. Spooky little guy. Spooky little guy. I think this one might be my favorite. Either that or Squee, which is the mouse one that I just did. But this is the one that does anger for G, so I did it in a slightly darker color. So now we're just gonna see if this smudges real quick. Oh yeah, it picks up a little, but you know what? It's not too bad. I think the pink under oh yeah, no, there it goes. I think the pink underneath is also gonna add to it as well, so maybe I should have let this dry first. Maybe that's my problem. I mean, I lined all the other ones first, so it definitely did get a chance to dry, but so I'm not gonna do the little guys because I don't want to ruin them because they're cute and I like how they turned out with the line work. So I'm gonna skip the little guys. See, and this is why I wanted to do all the markers first before I did the liner, because I figured this would happen. There's a lot of commentary on the internet about how some artists have same face syndrome or like always draw the head at the same angle and stuff like that. Shout out in the comments if you have a preferred lighting angle, like if your light always comes from the same direction, because mine definitely does. I definitely have a very go-to. It works so easily if it's just coming from like here, you know? It's so easy to just add a little bit of shadow right to the side of your guy, and then there's less thinking about it. Like backlighting, oof, don't even get me started on backlighting. Backlighting is so complicated. All my lighting comes from the same side most of the time. I've been trying to break that habit, but like today we're doing cozy coloring, so my lighting's gonna come from my preferred angle and it'll be great. Guys, I think I ruined this piece. If I'm being honest, if I'm being completely honest with myself, mistakes were made. This is not turning out as good, and it's just because I did incompatible art supplies. I mean, like, I'm gonna finish it for sure, but this might have been one of the ones that I should have just left alone. Cause I liked the little doodle. The little doodle was cute for sure, but sometimes you just gotta take the L. Alrighty, I think I'm done with this one. Let's move on to another one. Yay! Come on. Given my history with the last one, I think I'm just gonna leave that one as a sketch. I like it as a sketch, and I'm just gonna leave it. Yeah, let's color my girl Echoette, because I'm not overly attached to this sketch. So, I believe it was this color that I did her hair with. Her hair is swoopy. Yeah, Echoette definitely has become my comfort character to draw. Of course, she was gonna become my comfort character. She's all the things that I love to draw. Except for the fact that like I definitely matured her up, which I don't draw aged up characters as much. I think it's cool that she got aged up and I like drawing her with the wrinkles. I think they've become really fun to draw. Oh, yeah, no, that's definitely not the color. It's definitely this darker color. Her hair is definitely a lot more angular with this drawing than how I normally draw it, but that is a-okay. Because we can just say that her hair was a little bit shorter in this version, because this is when she got her ID photo for the agency. So she's Echoette, senior level hunter rank 3. She's actually one of the highest ranked hunters in the office. So I just kind of wanted to do what her photo for her ID would look like. Back to what I was doing. I'm gonna check this. No, that's like so yellow. I think some of these markers might need shaken. See, this is how I end up getting covered in art supplies. See, like, why is it so yellow? See, this one's so yellow too. I don't go. Hmm. I'm pretty sure this is the one that I used for her skin tone, so like that's not gonna be good if it's not coming out. See, all my browns turned yellow. This is why I wanted to avoid using my acrylic markers because the browns recently have started acting up and it is deeply distressing. Let me know if you use acrylic markers if you've had the same issue. Okay, we'll just use this one even though it's not correct. See, it's not even layering like how a normal acrylic marker would layer. Like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. See, she's gonna look real red. You know what? I think I can color over with the water-based markers to hopefully get her skin tone to match a little bit more. It's a little distressing that the browns have done that because like acrylic markers were definitely one of my favorite or were becoming one of my favorite physical medium art supplies. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna mess up like that, then like, and it could just be like the brand or like how I was storing them or pigmentation. It could be a number of things, but like, I don't know. I'm just having nerves. And we'll just layer over top of it with this, and then we'll get closer to what her actual skin tone looks like. Even though it's so red and then it's so orange and it's so bad. Oh my sweet Echoette. I'm so sorry. Okay, that's enough. That's enough of that. Also, I just realized like how much darker this is coming off across the screen as well. So, you know what? That might not have been the marker that I was using. So we're gonna do this one. Let's see if, oh god. That's like really late though. Okay. We'll just do some casual finger painting. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. Back on track. We're just gonna fix the undertone. That way when I do the watercolor on top, it's not gonna be as discolored. This is better. It's better. It's not perfect. But you know what? It's fine. Oh, goodness. But yeah, let me know if any of your acrylic markers have done this, if you use acrylic markers, because like I feel like it like separated. And like I tried shaking it and it's just not working. Yeah, so I think we're gonna move away from the skin tone and we're gonna go with, what color did I make her eyes? It's you love your character when you don't remember what color their eyes are. They're gold. I gave her golden eyes, so where did I put the gold? That'll be a question for later me. Let's do her top, and I want to do purple again. If you couldn't have guessed what my favorite color was, it's purple. I know it was super hard to guess. I rarely ever use it in any of my pieces, but yeah, purple is my favorite color. Specifically the electric purple that's a little bit closer to blue than it is to red, but also on the complete opposite side, the like super warm purple as well, like the sunset purple that's like almost a pink. See, purple has a lot of nuance, and that's why it's my favorite color. You can get a lot out of purple because like it looks so different depending on if it's warm tone or cool tone. I don't know what your favorite colors are. Because like I feel like some artists have their favorite color, but then they don't work with it. Like they have their favorite color like personally, and then they have their favorite color to work with. Or I feel like a lot of people don't actually wear their favorite color like as like a clothing color. Color is weird, man. And it's all subjective. And like there's the color languages that some people follow and care about, and like it's all crazy. Oh, did you guys know that magenta is not actually a color from the light spectrum? At least this was what was told to me in community art college. You look at your spectrum of color, right? And it goes through Roy G. Biv. Magenta is actually what your brain registers when you combine the spectrums of red, like the wavelengths of red and violet. So magenta is not actually a color, but rather a mass hallucination shared by the human race. Pretty crazy, right? You could totally fact check me on that. That may not be totally correct, but I'm pretty sure it's magenta. I just know that, like, it's the combination of the two wavelengths overlapping. And that's what your brain registers as, I believe, magenta. You know, it's your favorite color when it starts drying out on you. I'm gonna have to get new. You know what? No, I don't think I'm gonna get new acrylic markers because these are sad. And I'm sad. I did like using them though. But they did not last through one sketchbook's worth of drawings, which is unfortunate. But I also used a lot of them, and I used a lot of very specific colors. So it could just be a me thing. It could just be how I'm using them. And it could also just be the brand of marker as well. I could have messed up because these ones are the dual tone. So they have like two in one chamber, which probably meant that I got a lot less ink. I don't know what color I'm gonna make her ascot though, which is probably the thing I'm gonna have to color next. Or her pants. I could do her pants. Pants are easy. Not to draw, but like to color. I don't know if I have a good khaki color that like would give, because I fear khaki would give skin tone. Actually, you know what? This isn't too bad. We just went right in with that. And we're not gonna color in that button because nobody will know except all the people who watch this video that there was a button there. I mean, I'm gonna have to add it back. Actually, you know what? With how her shirt sits, I put that button too low anyways. So, you know what? That button can disappear off the face of the planet. Hey, you, it's totally fine that I'm coloring it this way. You know what? We'll stick with the purple theme. We'll go tone on tone. You know, girly is an icon and would have a tone on tone moment. Okay? Except for the fact that this color is whack. Oh my god, this color is so dirty. Who was I coloring on with? That statement didn't make any sense. It was really supposed to be like, what was I coloring this with before that the marker got so dirty? Oh, there's the gold. See? It was right in front of my face. I need the gray blue, the blues. This was not the color I used before, but I actually think her hair was a couple of different tones that I added together. Is this the color I want? Oh, it's a little rosy, but it's alright. Her skin tone's already pretty rosy because I messed up with the acrylics. So, just come back. Actually, you know what? I don't think that's adding enough contrast. Let's try this one. Yeah, this is gonna be dark. Or not. You know, that's fine. That's fine too. That actually works better in my favor, actually, because then I can layer. The beauty of using watercolor over acrylic markers is that they act more like watercolor because they're not absorbing into your paper. Because acrylic is a plastic, so you can kind of color them in and then you'll be able to blend things out a little bit more. Just a little something that I learned. But that also means that like you can rub things off really easily and like it does get a little bit harder to layer. Or not, as I proved myself wrong. Things are gonna get a little splotchy though. That's okay. We embrace the splotch. Sometimes you just gotta embrace the splotch. Details, and then I gotta add her frown lines that she has, and her crow's feet that she has, because she is a mature old lady. But I love her. She's great. She's my mature old lady, and I love her. Let me just add this in, and actually, I think I'm gonna have to go with that bright, obnoxious pink that I had before as a blush down, unless this will work. That's not even gonna show up on her skin. We're gonna need drastic measures here, gents. Which I need. There we go. Make her whole face red. Awesome, awesome. Gotta trust the process. Gotta trust the process, guys. Guys, are we trusting the process? We've trusted the process too much, okay? I'm definitely gonna have to come back in and line this, and I might have to line it in black because I think that might be the only thing that is going to go over everything that I've put down today. Oh, hey, look at that. It'll work as a shadow color for the shirt. Nice. Nice. Oh, okay. So as it dries, it's gonna lighten. I need to remember not to whisper because I don't think my mic can pick it up when I whisper. You know what? I don't actually think I need to line this one. We'll take this and do her curly cues again. This isn't even gonna show up. Actually, it will. Actually, it might not. We'll see. We'll let it dry. But you know what? I don't think I need to add line work to this one because I'm nervous. And you know what? I don't hate it without line work. It can just be colored, and that's fine. And that's all, folks. A little bit longer of a video this month, but hey, thanks for making it all the way to the end. Since you're still here, consider perhaps dropping a like or subscribe. If you seek even more chaos, you might enjoy one of my other videos. I'm very proud of my 2026 redraw. I can also be found across the webiverse on Cara, Bluesky, and Instagram, all by the same name. Thank you for joining me in my bubble of the internet, and I'll see you later. Okay, bye.